All right, so today I'm going to be talking with one of my amazing client transformations, Blake. Blake is a father of two small children who has, truthfully, non exaggeration, completely changed his life inside my coaching process and program. So I'm going to load him on in here and we're going to speak to him. So, what he can do, just request to join with me, or I can try to request for you. Let me check what I can do here. Think I can just have you just request to join my live. It should be that plus video button in the right hand corner, right hand down here. But Blake has had honestly too many transformations to count, so I'm going to have him explain it. But we're speaking about he was on acid reflux medications for 10 years. We're talking a decade of his life. He was taking omeprazole to help with his acid reflux at night and everything. And so here it's let me just see. All right, hopefully it'll show up here, Blake. Let me do this. But let me know. It should work here. This always happens, but there we go. Perfect. Blake, can you hear me and see me?
All good here.
Here we go. All right, Blake. Well, I just was telling everyone about kind of what this video, what this live is going to be, just talking about all your success with me. So let's take it to the roots. Back in December 2024, can you just explain everything initially, like what made you want to reach upon me, like what made you want to change your health, really?
Yeah, so December 16th is the first time that we met. Before that, the days leading up to that day, uh, Ashley and I, we have a mutual friend that was in your program and we saw her progress and we saw what you were doing for her. And, we reached out to her. So word of mouth really got us interested. We were already at that point in our lives where we wanted to make these changes not only for ourselves but for our kids and then our future. So yeah, when we saw what she was going on about, and the intensity in her voice and all of that, we really were motivated by that. And so I was done being so sad and so just upset at myself for what had become of my life. And Ashley too, we had looked back at all of our pictures and videos when we were younger and dating. And it's like, man, we lost that. There she
Mm-hmm.
is walking in from the back there. But
There we
yeah,
go.
so that's where the motivation began. And I mean, we met with you December 16th, and man, I can't believe it's already almost been a year, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about Blake. So, man, I mean, so when you first started back in December of last year, well, yeah, about a year ago now, how much did you weigh at that time?
So when we first spoke, I was at 290, but I had already started somewhat trying to change my life. But the heaviest I was at the beginning of December, and that was right at 300 pounds. That was
Mm-hmm.
right at 300 pounds. When you and I first met, I was already down 10 pounds to 290, but it
Yeah.
wasn't in any way, form, or fashion the healthy version of doing it. It was just starting to starve myself, which,
Yeah.
as we've learned through this program, is not the correct way to go about things. But the
What's the
heaviest
saying?
I was at was a few days leading up to 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, I want to talk about too. Obviously, a big thing is that you wanted to lose weight, you wanted to have more energy. But I think the one big thing that kind of drew you in specifically to me, because obviously you kind of saw I helped a lot of females beforehand. I mean, obviously now I'm helping, I mean, tons of males, and I've always helped tons of males ever since I started. I mean, like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. But what I want to talk about the acid reflux thing because I think that's crucial because I think a lot of guys too, or men really, deal with a lot of chronic gut issues, the bloating, the constipation, the burping, the bleaching, GERD, and all those indigestion problems. So let's talk about, I mean, as gross as it sounds, we did a stool test initially, right? We figured
Right.
out what was the issue, but can you talk about the whole acid reflux, how fast you solved the acid reflux with me and all that?
Yeah. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. So we'll take it as far back as I remember when I started dealing with acid reflux, and that was probably ninth, 10th grade. So sophomore year in that area, and I had dealt with it all the way up until we met with you. So 32 years of age, that's a lot of years. That's a lot of years that I was dealing with that. Every day, acid reflux, having to take omeprazole daily, sometimes twice daily, just to get through to the end of my day. And that was the only relief that I really truly knew. But yeah, so fast forward, meet with you, we start breaking down and starting to get to the root cause. We do the GI map, and you give me those pointers in the beginning before we even have my results from the GI map, and right away, the gut shot was super super helpful. I mean, the
Yeah.
detrimental damage that omeprazole did to my body, it had to be reversed, and that was a good starting point. So the gut shot,
Mhm.
also all the other first suggestions that you gave to me,
Yeah.
within 10 days, if I remember counting correctly, within 10 days for me, no longer needed to take omeprazole, 100% off. And here we are almost a full year later, and I have not had to take a single omeprazole tablet. And
Yeah.
I have,
It's impressive.
it is beyond impressive. And I thought I was going to be some one of those guys that depended on it for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, like, I think one big thing with the whole omeprazole is like the faulty of what the actual root cause is for most people. I mean, your doctor is usually saying that it's from too much stomach acid, but what's happening is that the esophageal sphincter, which is located right here, obviously where your esophagus is, isn't closing correctly when you're trying to digest the food. And so, the omeprazole, the PPI, is just suppressing it even more. So then, by adding in the acid reflux, I mean, the omeprazole, you're obviously going to suppress the symptom but not fix it. And I mean, the recommendations we did was the opposite. We added more stomach acid. I mean, that's what the gut shot's about. We supported the gut lining. That's the intestinal lining, and that therefore will decrease all the symptoms that acid reflux can cause. But okay, so for you, I want to talk about so the first wins you started to feel, weeks to months. I mean, obviously you dropped the acid reflux initially. I mean, 10 days in, that's amazing after 10 years, 10 plus years rather.
Yep.
What were some of those like weird like positives you kind of saw that you didn't honestly expect?
So honestly, some of the weirdest things, like when that's no longer a concern of yours, you feel like that's not such a weight on you, because physical activity, any movement would just aggravate and agitate those symptoms, and it would be, even just light to medium moderate manual labor I'd start to feel it. So that no longer having to be an issue, immediately, I started to focus more on more energetic levels that were rising. So I realized that I had more energy. It was no longer taken away from my day-to-day work. So I had more focus just in that aspect. This was before we even started like the good supplemental eating and the good functional training program that you had set up for me. Just
Yeah.
eliminating that from my body and from my daily life had already given me an edge to start focusing
Yeah,
on other
that's
things.
huge. Well, that's actually like applicable stuff that people can take away today. I mean, like, so, all right, don't lie to them. I mean, like, how hard was it initially upon coming in? I mean, how difficult? You and your wife, by the way, she's not here because she's with the kids, but
Yeah.
like, she's a beast. She dropped. I mean, how much is it to date? I mean, it's
50. We went and
50
got our in-body.
pounds.
We went and got our
50
in-body
pounds.
scan. Yep, we went
Yeah,
and got our
50
in-body scan
pounds.
today.
She's off thyroid medication. We fixed her
Hmm.
thyroid, or her endocrinologist is like, I don't got to see you anymore. But okay, well, I mean, there'll be a separate time for her for sure. But
Yeah.
uh okay, and I lost my train of thought now.
No, no.
No, no,
So
we talk about the initial part for sure. So yeah, kind of walk us through that. Like, how easy was that for you?
no, no. So let's be completely real here. Let's put it all out on the table and no sugarcoating it. Those first 3 weeks, those first 21 days were absolute. They were a problem, man.
Yeah,
On day one of the cleanse, I told myself nothing's going to deter me from this. By day two, I had the caffeine withdrawals, I had the shakes, I had the headaches, and I was ready to call it quits on day two. And if I wouldn't have had Ashley at my side, it would have been a lot harder. But no, in that moment, I had a decision to make that I wanted to be better than I was ever before. And so, to say the least, we locked in and we continued. We continued with the cleanse. And each day after about day 3 or 4, for me personally, got easier and easier. And really and truly, once those first 21 days were up, once that first segment of this program was up, man, it felt it felt 180 difference. Everything from the bloating that I was feeling, everything from the inflammation that I saw had in my face,
Mm,
uh, everything that was just my norm was already starting to wither away. Right after those 21 days, everything just sort of became easier. The meal plans you started to put out for us, the workout regimen you put out for us, everything got easier as long as we stayed consistent and put the work in every day.
yeah, that's huge. I mean, I think people hear that cleanse and they're like, what does that even mean? Does that mean you just drink celery juice all day, or what did that look like for you?
No, no. So, I mean, there was first and foremost, I was worried being a big boy. I was worried I was just going to be hungry all the time, and that could not be further from the truth. When you go through a cleanse, you are giving your body the nutrition and you're giving your body the sustenance that it actually needs and is required, that we've been lied to about our entire lives. And so
Mm,
it balances that out right then and there. You feel fuller because you're eating real food, to say the least, not anything processed. So
yep.
for me, enjoying the cleansing shake, the shake that we had to make with majority antioxidants like blueberries, the fruits, the veggies that were in there, the sprinkle of cinnamon, all of that good stuff that was thrown into those shakes. 2 of those a day, awesome, really good. The meals that we were preparing, because we were having to prepare our meals there in the beginning, because we wanted to eliminate all the seed oils and the processed ingredients from our household. We started to change our pantry and change our mindset of how we were going to start cooking. So no, it was not like you're living off of juice. No, you're living off of real food, whole foods, and you just
Yeah.
change your lifestyle in a way that you didn't think of before.
Yeah, for real. I mean, over 70% of the population deal with some type of nutrient deficiency. We are overfed but undernourished as a
Yeah,
nation in the United States. We deal with a plethora of chronic health symptoms. If individual's on one medication, their likelihood of being on four is over 60%. So when we talk about cleansing our body, we're talking about actually removing processed food, removing inflammatory cytokines that we ingest every single day. We are healing the root cause. And
yeah,
the reason why we're talking about this initially for Blake is because that's the most fundamental, biggest turn point I can give to someone in the initial phase of our programming. Because if you can't dial in your eating, what you're putting into your mouth every day, then you have no control in anything else that you're doing. You have no control in how you're going to actually follow the workout routines, or no control in how you're going to take the therapeutic peptides or the supplementation or the hormones. No matter what, if you can't even dial in what you're putting into your mouth every day, there is no other thing that you should be focusing on, because if you're not doing that, you're not going to get the results. And I will say this firsthand. I've had many people do that. They can't just dial in the initial part. They can't dial in the eating. Everything is disturbed. Maybe they'll see the results 100% because I know what I'm doing and I'm skilled. But if you want to see the full 180, you got to get that corrected. You got to
yeah,
get that corrected. Now, I really want to approach this because it's just a joke, because people are saying they don't have time, but what are you doing? You're working 14 hours out in the field. You have two small children.
yep,
You have a wife that works
yep.
as well.
Yep.
So it's like, what do you have to say to that? Like
I, I
what do you have to say to that?
I fully understand and I resonate with that initial thought. I don't have the time. I'm going to fit my health in where I can. I resonate with that sentiment. I resonate with those feelings because that was me. When we first
Mhm.
started, I saw that as an obstacle. When you start to accept the fact that if you don't put your health at least a priority in some part of the day, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, that's 3% of your day. Like if you really want to break it down. And that, like if you really want to break it down to something like that's 3% of your day, what you do with the rest of it, yes, we are all busy. Working full time, working overtime, raising children, trying to be the head of a household, trying to make sure everything is in order here. That weighs a lot on a man's shoulders. And single mothers too. That weighs a lot on them as well. I'm going to include them in on that as well. But
Mhm.
for the men, I totally understand and I resonate with that. But there comes a point in time where we have to realize if we keep using that as an excuse, we are the legacy that we're leaving behind, the what we're leaving for our children, the example, even, you know, or who we want to be remembered as. It's going to suffer, and it's not easy. It's hard, but you know what else is hard? Being in your 20s and overweight and not being able to move, and growing older and not being able to live a fun and healthy lifestyle because you are in and out of doctors. So pick your heart is what I'm basically trying to wrap it up to here. Pick your heart. You either want it to be hard now or you want it to be hard later. Totally up to you, but it can be done. And you showed me the way. You showed me and Ashley the way, because you never abandoned us. First and foremost, you worked around my schedule. You gave us the functional training that was needed and necessary to target specifically. So a 30-minute workout is better than no workout. And honestly, what you wrote up for us, the plans you wrote up for us, the meal plans you wrote up for us, it's all in unison for a busy lifestyle. Now, yes, as my kids have gotten older and as we've had downtime here or downtime there, or yeah, obviously you can work out more, you can start running like I've been doing, like Ashley's been doing. So you find your groove as you go. But I definitely understand and resonate those feelings that I don't have time. We have to make time where we can, as best we can, whether that's getting up earlier or fitting it in somewhere throughout the day.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's critical, the point that we're talking about, because, like it could definitely sound, harsh when I speak about it, but remember, no one else is in the trenches like I am with you.
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand that, because of course you don't have time, because you, number one, unfortunately, maybe you just don't know what you're doing. Number two,
Yep.
you are over analysis paralysis. There's just so much stuff out there. There's stuff that you did in your 20s. There's stuff you did high school years, even later 20s, that just was super time consuming. Your distortment, or the way that you're pursuing, the way that you're perceiving your health and fitness, is faulty at the core, because you're thinking of overworking yourself, underfeeling yourself, and just doing a bunch of random things that honestly don't pertain to you specifically.
Yeah.
And so when you actually have a coach, you actually have someone there for you. You actually have someone who's going to give you the right things that you specifically need via your personalized lab testing, intake assessments, and most importantly, your actual lifestyle, how you
Yep.
live. That is honestly the catalyst for results. So much so is something that you're going to get carried for the rest of your life. And that's critical, because that's exactly what you did. You came up with, or rather, I mean, let's not even talk about this. I mean, week in, week out, Ashley, and we met weekly. I understood you. And that's really, I think, what a good, maybe, coach person, you could say, it needs to do, truthfully. And that's why I do it. And so, because you got to have someone there for you. And I think that's a big difference between a lot of different other ways of going about this. Because if you don't have that person with you, you aren't meeting with them, you don't know really what you can do to tweak, or okay, this is coming up this week, or okay, so if this came up this week, okay, now 12 weeks later, if this comes up again, I know what to do, or this
Yep.
comes up again, like, I know what to do. So that's critical. That's critical. Um,
I
okay,
want
I
to
know
add
we
to that. I want
yes,
to
yeah,
add to that
yeah. Go
real quick.
ahead. Add to it.
There were times in the program with you where I remember reaching out to you because I felt terrible because I had had a bad week or I had had a bad 2 weeks, and I remember reaching out to you at whatever time it was that I felt terrible about myself, and you helped me through that, even just on a one-on-one level. Like, that's okay. You're going to have those bad weeks. Life happens. And they did happen to me more often than I care to admit. They happened to me. But it was how you helped me to overcome those bad weeks and those obstacles. And, usually after overcoming something like that, I had like a major breakthrough, and it was an intense breakthrough like after that. So overcoming those obstacles and those losses were super crucial for my success, my and Ashley's success, because overcoming adversity will just make you mentally and physically stronger in the end. And one thing else that I wanted to point out that we started implementing early on in the beginning when we were trying to eliminate distractions so that we could prioritize our health. I'm going to probably get scrutinized for saying this, but these phones, man, these phones are absolutely time killers and time consumers. So once we started realizing how much time in our sedentary lifestyle we were losing to phones and just doom scrolling, man, we realized that hour that we just lost could have been used on a quick ab workout or could have been used on a quick full body workout here in the living room. So
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to put that out there as well. If you feel like you don't have time, really look within. Look within, I would say, and really see how you spend your time and
Yeah.
really meditate over that.
That's huge. Yeah, I appreciate you adding that in. And so for you, Blake, I want to talk about something too. So, supplements are huge because we can obviously get everything we need in our eating, but then also on the other hand, there's just things that we honestly use for supplements that you just can't attain through nutrition alone. Now, where I want to go with this is that we actually did proper periodization in the supplements you're using. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? Like what you took 3 months ago, even a month ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, like that isn't the same as what you're taking today because we want to use specific things when you're correcting other things and so forth. So, can you elaborate on that in
Yeah.
terms of like, okay, maybe there was a point where you were, yeah, actually, we did speak about that one. But yeah, so there was a point initially where it's like, yeah, I'm using these different supplements, but there's a rhyme and a reason to that. This is why you have to follow the process to see the progress. You need to follow a coach. I don't think people understand, like, they're just so there's just a distortment when it comes to like a coach. Like it's anything, like you have a coach for your basketball team, your football team, and you listen to that person, not in a dictatorship way, but in a way of like, hey, like this person I'm going to trust. I'm just going to lean on the process and I'm going to see the progress. So
Yep.
with that kind of being said, it's like, hey, that's why you hired me. That's why you hire a coach. That's why you have a coach. You're paying for results. You're paying for speed. You're paying for safety. You're paying for accountability. You're paying for structure. You're paying for getting through the loops. And I can keep going on for 50 plus things because I've been doing this for a long time. But
Yeah.
what I want to get to is you took some supplements in the beginning. Walk
Yeah.
me through the whole supplement regime that we kind of went through throughout a time and still are to this day. To this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Well, let's break it up. Let's break it up into thirds. Ashley and I did the 9 month program with you. I know you tailor it to every one of your clients differently, but we'll go through our program. So the first 3 months, we're solely focused on detoxification of the gut biome, and helping with those correct biotics. My education on supplements was very minimal. I knew that you needed protein to build muscle, and I knew that a pre-workout was pretty awesome if you wanted to get some energy, but that's about it. So to get the education up front within those first 3 months, those first 90 days of how to properly detoxify was all new to me and Ashley. When we would reach those points where we needed to ask more questions to get more clarification, not only did you answer them, but you also had the justification and the reason why and helped break them down for us. So that made us very comfortable to understand, okay, we were trying to detox in the past way wrong. We were doing this all wrong. So super important right then and there. I like to call the next 3 months, the middle of the program, I like to call those next 3 months the endurance building months because that's how it felt like to me. So we started incorporating more, I guess you could say, not necessarily like muscle and strength building supplements, but supplements that helped with endurance, giving us a lot more energy, giving us a lot more intentionality behind what our goals were. So I don't remember all the names of those, but yes, our supplements changed for the next portion. And and with good reason because now you were helping us to start really get molded into our goals.
Yeah.
And so the workouts even changed, the meal plan even changed, and our supplements changed. And then we break it down to what our final portion of the last third of our program was. And you really dove deep and you told us it's about to get very intense for these next 90 days with y'all's goals, which for me was I wanted to get into an extreme cut. I wanted to start chiseling away at the body sculpting. And so you gave me exactly what I needed. You set me up with the correct guidance needed for peptides and for supplement intake. And what I want to bring out and what I want to make sure is very clear, you never pushed anything on me. These were all mere suggestions that you encouraged me to do my own research on. before we pushed pushed anything, onto me and what I was going to intake from the beginning to the end was always by do your research. I'm just going to lay out the tools for you. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I really appreciated that aspect of it, even because I never felt like I was being pressured into anything in this coaching program. You were giving me the tools and you allowed me to do the research on them. And to this day, I mean, even after the program is done, now that we're just more on a check-in basis type situation, and you just following along with mine and Ashley's progress and where we're at, even to this day, I'll still reach out to you because that is the trust that I built with you as my coach, but in this program. So
Mhm.
that is how I want to break down. That's how I want to break down those thirds. That yes, it's going to be changing. So don't think that it's not. Diego doesn't know what he's doing. No, he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's tailoring it to what you're asking.
Yeah, that's huge. And I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people nowadays that unfortunately they're partnered with different supplement companies. They're doing different things, and yeah, I have some resources for sure. But I mean, like, you guys got supplements from everywhere and anywhere,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
in a respectable manner, like safe manner, where we made sure it was all like third party tested,
yep,
GMO, gluten free.
yep,
Like it was all reputable sources. But it's not like, hey, use my discount code here and use my discount code here. No, it was like, hey, this one's on Amazon or this one's on and this website. Hey, this one's on this website. And dude,
yep,
we were playing around with like we had like 10 different rotate, and that's honestly how it is for every client because everybody's so different. So
yep,
I mean that's huge to understand too. I mean, like I'm just being real with people. I mean, that's why we have the blessing I have the blessing to be having these conversations because
yep,
clients that want to tell their story, clients that want to let other people know about the transformation, it's pretty profound. But I want to talk about what he just mentioned. So Blake talked about how we just incremented that 9 months together. And that's honestly what true functional medicine and natural healing is about. Okay, you have to truly start from within. And I think most things neglect this because if you don't get your internal right, then you're not going to be doing anything correct or right either. And so we started out with okay, he was dealing with underlying gut issues. He was dealing with a lot of residual inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, high stress, cortisol, insulin resistance, blood sugar imbalances. So we have to fix those first because that's accelerated his 90 days. I mean, the last 90 days. I mean, you told me that just in October or something, you gained 10 pounds of muscle, or
yeah,
what was it?
yeah. From when we finished our program to today, which would have been like roughly around a little over a month. Um, that was a 10-pound gain in muscle, and that went from a 15% body fat down to a 13% body fat. And
You
just
remember
recently,
your initial body fat percentage?
38% is where I started off.
38%.
38%.
38%. You start out
Yeah.
38% with me, down to
38% with you,
13.
down to 13.5. And I'm in a bulk right now, so I went up to 13.9
Yeah.
as of today. But still, that's way less than where I started at 38% with you.
Mm. Wow,
Yeah,
that's incredible. I mean, obviously I know the numbers, but just sharing the numbers again and hearing
yeah,
it, like that's incredible. I mean, and the muscle growth. I mean, that's critical too. But um, you know, yeah, so we talked about that. We talked about that. So I guess like for you, Blake, like if there was someone who just met me or there's someone who's interested in what I do, what would you say to them?
I will say what I tell my colleagues and my peers that actually do ask me about you. The first thing I'm going to ask them is why? Why do you want this? And that was the first question you asked me when we first met on our first initial Zoom meeting. You asked me why do I want this and what am I reaching out to you for? So that is how I approach it with them because that really worked with me. That really resonated with me. I want to know why is it that you're asking me about my coach? What is it that you want? So that is first and foremost. When we can come to our own realizations like that, it really helps to open your own eyes. Like I guess I don't know what I want. So for anybody who is inquiring about this program or anything I'm doing, I want to get down to that base at the very beginning as well. I want to know what is your goal here. Do you want to be healthier? Do you want longevity? Do you want something functional, or do you just want a quick fix? And before I send anybody to you, that is what I ask them first, because I really want them to think about what their plan and what their goals are. So
Yeah.
Once I get that kind of lay of the land right there, how you know how their mindset is, I will tell them, okay, this is probably going to be the hardest thing you've ever done because it not even the food, all of that's going to be given to you. It's a mind game. It is a mental overload. If you are ready to change who you are entirely, change your lifestyle, you need to be ready to have those fights with the internal dialogue, the internal monologue going on up there with yourself. Because it happened to me several times. I was my own worst enemy, and I kept telling myself like, "You can't do this. You can't do this." And it is a mental battle that everybody should be ready to fight for and fight against because that's just what we're fed in this world. We're fed that we should be coddled, and we're fed that we should get the easy way out, and I make sure to let everyone know that it asks me and inquires about you. Like, it will be the hardest thing you've ever done, but because of the feeling of success and the feeling of greatness afterwards, you will be unstoppable and you are going to see the growth in the animal you can become in ways that you never thought were imaginable. Just trust the process.
That's huge. That's huge, and I appreciate you sharing that. And I mean, like for the people at home and everything, like if you're interested in learning, like look at this physical transformation here.
Oh yeah,
That's Blake. I mean,
that's
Blake, tell me
a
about that guy up there. What is he gonna say right now?
that is a box of a dozen Dunkin' Donuts on a Florida beach somewhere. And I was just what I thought was living life right. But no, that what I call Fat Blake would be very impressed with modern day Blake, and modern day Blake is not very impressed with Fat Blake. And that top left corner picture over there, that I thought I was just jolly and happy, but my goodness, I look at that now and I don't even recognize who that person is.
Yeah. And I mean, like it's all about having that person there for you and all that. And so I think that's so critical, especially when you're making that huge 180 from where you were to where you're at now today. Yeah, so I want to say I appreciate you coming on here, Blake. I really do appreciate you sharing your story. I know we'll have to get Ashley onto one now too.
Yeah,
Um, but man, I mean, it's been definitely a journey, and I love that we're not even close to being finished, and
no,
there's just
no.
so much more. Um, and for Blake now, I mean, he's getting the benefits of the growth we've been able to obtain. I mean, a medical director and everything like that, which we have now. So the new technologies that we're obtaining day in, day out is helping us create even better success stories, even better experiences. So I'm glad that Ashley and Blake are able to experience that. Any last words, Blake, to anyone out there?
Be start if you really do want to go down this path, you need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That is probably my biggest advice to anybody. You need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable because on the other side of that discomfort is great success, and really is it really is life changing work that you're doing here, man. So I can't
I
thank you
appreciate
enough.
that.
I can't thank you enough. You gave me and Ashley totally different mindsets, different purposes. You give us something to work towards every day, and I'm super excited to see what year two has in store for me. I mean,
Yeah,
those pictures. I mean, I can't believe they're less than a year ago where I
yeah,
am now in my physique. I can't believe that at all. But
yeah.
when you
It's
when you look at the work that I put in and that Ashley put in, 50 pounds for a woman, that's a lot. 100 pounds for me,
astonishing.
that's a lot. It's astonishing, but uh, yeah, I want to say thank you, a big thank you for everything you did for us and your continued support and always being there for us, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, if anyone's interested, you can always message me. You can even message Blake and him and his wife's his joint account, their joint account. And stay tuned for more success stories that I'll continue to keep posting on here. If you're interested about my services, interested about my soon to be online telemedicine clinic, just used for patients only, you can always message me. So thank you, Blake, and we'll be talking soon, everyone. All right. See ya.